And lastly, what I would say here is that when you live in a country like the United States or UK or Australia or any country of this sort, you have to understand that as Muslims, you must not regard yourselves in any way to be superior to your peers, to maybe Christians or to people who belong to other communities. Because remember, all of us are first human beings. And as human beings, all of us are equal in the eyes of God. And therefore, it's absolutely not right to consider ourselves to be superior, or we think that the other people who might be different from us are inferior to us. And I go a step further by actually pointing out the fact that there are communities within communities which have a different sexual orientation. For example, the LGBTQ community. So I know the general perception amongst Muslim parents is that they would not want their children to mingle with these people, or to have any connection with these people. But personally, I mean, you might disagree. Some of the parents here might disagree. But I would say that I can cite the Quran in favor of this. That as far as human beings are concerned, you might have a difference of opinion with people. You might have a difference of opinion regarding their orientation. But this doesn't mean at all that you regard themselves to be inferior to you, or regard yourselves to be superior to yourself, to others, or you think that they are people who are condemned by God and they cannot be, I mean, made friends with. I can give you an example from the Quran. So you see, the Almighty says that the thing which is most detestable in His sight is a person who does polytheism, who indulges in polytheism. But at the same time, the Quran says that even though polytheism is a detestable practice, but if you have your parents doing so, I mean, they are polytheists, or they are insisting you to adopt one of the practices, the Quran does not say that you run away from them, or you ostracize them, or you cut off your relations with them. It says, Sahibhuma fid dunya marufa. You treat them nicely and kindly. Be with them. I mean, uphold all these values of truth and kindness with them. So, on very similar grounds, I would say that even if the LGBTQ community is some community with which you might have a difference of opinion, but at the same time, this difference of opinion should not be instrumental in drawing lines or borders between them and yourself. They might have a different orientation, they might have a different view about certain things. So if you are, for example, proposing the fact that you are going to support their rights, as is the case in so many countries, that they are people who would like their rights to be acknowledged. And if you stand by them in this matter, then in my personal opinion, there's nothing wrong about it. Because you see, when you're standing by their rights, you're not actually implying that you agree with their rights. All that you're implying is that they should have their rights. So just as the Afro-American community, if it is being ostracized or maybe condemned in a certain way, or discriminated in another way, you stand by them, even if you don't like some of the things that they do. But you as basic human beings, you would have certain rights. You say, well, we might differ with some of your views, but we stand by you in the sense that you should have the same rights, same civic rights, same political rights, same rights as any other person would have. So I would say that the right attitude here would be that in spite of having a difference of opinion, supporting them in their rights is absolutely fine. And at the same time, not judging them in any way regarding their hereafter or the way that they live here is again something that we must do. We should behave normally with them. As I said, you could differ with a person in a number of views, in a number of other areas as well. And in spite of that, you still sit together, you still eat together, you still hang out with these such people. So this is how I view that as far as communities are concerned, we have to learn to get integrated among such communities instead of running away or creating our own islands from such communities. But yes, at the same time, having our own values that we stand for as strong as we can, and at the same time, as I said, upholding the fact that others who have a different sexual orientation, they still have the rights that they should get as human beings and as citizens of that state.